Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my live streams. This is an early morning live stream, and I am early because of my man Vika, who is actually in the chat right now. He sent me a message a short while ago alerting me to some news. I did some quick research and was able to confirm what it was that Vika was communicating to me via direct message. And I decided that I wanted to jump on here to go live to share that information with you all. I've said it before, as a YouTuber, this is actually pretty, if there is a bright spot, this is a good time, if you will, because there is a lot that is still happening out there, a lot of stuff that is impacting the comic book market and the comic book community. And it's cool because I actually have the ability to go live with this information in a timely fashion to help, provide information to people that they otherwise might not see right away. So I see a lot of comic book soldiers flowing into the room here. I normally at this time say hello to a lot of people, but I want to jump into the details of this so as to make sure that the pertinent information is up front in this recording. So a lot of people have been speculating over the last maybe 2 weeks that Diamond was not going to start shipping comics until August. And I have been hesitant to actually talk about that because I didn't know that for a fact. It was a lot of speculation. And you guys know that I try to deal in facts whenever I possibly can. So this morning, my man Vika sent me a message. It was somebody's shot from Instagram. So I jumped online and I was able to confirm here that Diamond is putting a plan in place to begin shipping comics relatively soon. New comics back to local comic shops relatively soon. The demise of Diamond was not accurate. So here is the message, and we'll kind of skip through this message. This is a press release that was actually released by Diamond. I do not have a copy of the press release itself, but it is available on comicbook.com. So that is what I'm actually referencing here. It says, although we are not yet on the other side, we are tracking developments daily and are starting to see signs of the spread slowing in certain areas. Like you, we are thinking about and planning for when and how we will restart the shipping of new weekly product. We have been closely watching the news, listening to our retailer and publisher partners, and considering the many points of view as we decide as an industry how to proceed. And this is something that I've spoken about before, that Diamond is not making these things in isolation, these decisions in isolation. They are talking with their partners. They are talking with their suppliers, and they're making decisions, I think, in a fashion that makes sense. With the health and safety of our employees, retailers, and customers a top priority, we need to be very deliberate about how we restart and scale operations. We must find that delicate balance between managing health and safety concerns, meeting the pent-up demand for product, and working with retailers whose situations differ and whose need for product may have changed. And so it goes on to say, while there are many steps and conversations that need to happen between today and resuming distribution of new weekly product, we are currently targeting mid to late May, with the hope that as an industry, we can all work towards that time frame. Of course, as we have all seen, target dates sometimes need to be adjusted in this ever-changing new normal, but we cannot wait for firm dates. We have started the planning process and are having these important conversations with publishers and retailers so that once we have more clarity, we are in a position to restart and scale operations over time. Our intent is to restart the weekly process once we have worked with publishers on a new schedule for product releases. Product that was originally scheduled for release on April 1st and 8th will be distributed over a longer period. This is an important part here. Allowing publishers to work with printers to deliver new product without further interruption. Retailers, and again, another important part, retailers will be able to adjust their order quantities for those products, making sure that they are receiving quantities that make sense for them at the current situation in their stores. This is a well-written, well thought out press release that has been issued with Diamond. It is very thoughtful and very purposeful. The words that they are choosing to use in this press release, they are essentially showing that they are a unified front with the publishers and also with the local comic shops, both of which, in my opinion and observation, have stood by Diamond through this crisis, right? They are basically presenting a unified front, and they are saying we are going to move forward in an order that actually makes sense for all stakeholders. Somebody just yesterday asked me a question of whether they believed that Diamond was just going to dump materials on local comic shops. My response was, I hope not. I don't think so. That would not be prudent. We now have confirmation that they are going to gate the release of these materials to local comic shops so as to allow them to absorb it. But more importantly, they're going to allow the local comic shops to make adjustments to their orders, which I think is fantastic, because there are some places in this country that may not be open, that there are some places where local comic shops are still actually doing curbside. And so giving local comic shops the flexibility to adjust quantities to maybe zero, or to maybe just adjust them downward, to be able to ensure that they can get product to their customers and that they don't get hit with these major invoices right away, right? Because if Diamond automatically just ships stuff, local comic shops will be in a pinch because they may not have the foot traffic to offset that invoice when it actually comes in. So this is very smart. This is very, very smart on their part, and it gives us hope. And I think that the reason that this press release was being released today, or maybe towards the end of yesterday or today, I don't know when it was actually sent out, it is actually really smart, and it is timely. And it is timely because if you listen to the president's press conference yesterday around 3:15 or so, they basically outlined a phased approach for opening the country back up. And so governors and states will have the ability to have a little flexibility in making decisions about what can be opened back up, when it can be opened up in this stepwise approach based upon local conditions. And Diamond is also now reflecting the fact that there may be some variability in what actually happens across the country, and they are making allowances for that. Again, well done, well written press release that I think is extremely timely for people to be aware of. New comics are coming back sooner than was rumored. There are a lot of people out there that were saying it wasn't going to happen until August. We now have some information that says that is potentially not accurate information. And so new comics are coming, man. So let me scroll down to the chat here and see what you guys may be talking about here. What is this? Yeah, there you go. My comic book store is still doing curbside. Yeah. And I know that a lot of them are doing mail order. A lot of them are actually selling back issues. They're doing virtual sales. So there is some activity out there with local comic shops. And again, I think that this is a really good move. Whitewell is in the house. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Tina's here. Ariel's here. Adam Close is here. How you doing, brother? It's good to see you. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. The Comic Whisperer. Sean, how you doing, brother? Mark Spector is in the house. EE is also up in here. Let me scroll back up through the comments because you guys are welcoming one another. Let me see if there's anything else up in here. Scrolling through. Phil is up in the house. Tommy Mayo, how you doing? Nah, man, no tank top. Nah, brother. It's a little cold in this room. It's early, man. My voice has not yet changed. I'm only a cup and a half into my coffee here. Let me scroll. Johnny Future, it's good to see you, brother, as always. So for those that are coming into the chat a little bit late, we now have information definitively from Diamond that new comics will start to ship as early as May. There is a plan that they are putting in place in order to start getting new comics, new inventory into local comic shops in an order, I think, that actually makes sense and is reflective of what the president actually spoke about on his news conference yesterday. So again, I think very, very good information. He says, morning from my FedEx truck. Brother, you guys are on the front lines out there, man. I make a lot of friends with the delivery guys that come to my house, and the UPS guy is one that I'm very familiar with. And he says it's rough out there. I talk to him every time he comes to the house, if I'm, outside or able to get to the door. And he says that it is extremely rough out there. He's wearing his mask, he's wearing his gloves and stuff out there. And he's doing some hard work, man. He is working hard. And so be careful out there, my friend. Continue to do the good work that you are, called to do. So what is this? It says, hey, Reggie, I'm on break from work. Hope the family is safe. The family is doing well, my man. It is good to see you. My wife is about 100%. So it's definitely nice to have her in the upright position this week. Has been a very good week for her. So I'm very thankful for that. So scrolling down. So let me see. What is this? I got my Galactus print this week. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. He actually ordered one of the Galactus prints that was made by this artist right here, the guy that drew my very first t-shirt. Really cool Galactus print. He actually picked it up off of the website regiecollects.com. So glad that it arrived safely. I tried to pack them. I tried to pack my stuff really nicely, man, so that it arrives. But it is an impressive piece. When you actually see it in person, it is actually a pretty sharp piece. So thank you for ordering that. Glad to hear that it arrived safely. Giovanni, how you doing, brother? It is good to see you. What does it say? Being a silver age collector, my shopping habits haven't. Yeah. There's a lot of us, man, that we're still going. People are like, hey, are you still ordering from eBay and still ordering comics? Yep. Nothing has really changed for me. Not at all. Shout out for certain to all the FedEx, UPS, United States Postal Service delivery people. You guys are killing it, man. The people that do the food deliveries and all of that kind of stuff, man. You guys are out there doing some serious work, helping to keep people safe. So shout out to all of you guys, and also just provide the resources that people need in order to shelter in place. So shout out to you guys. Scrolling down through the comments here, seeing what else you guys are talking about. And then I will recap in just a moment. Scrolling down, Catherine is like, much thanks, Reggie. Home by force default. So the first live stream. Welcome, Catherine. It is good to see you. I'm curious if there's anybody else here right now that is doing their first live stream. If you are, shout it out so that we can acknowledge you. Put it in all caps because that'll definitely help my eyes. Scrolling down, Gomez, the comic collector. How you doing? Shout out to Ben's daughters. Hope you guys are doing well over there. We have a couple of people here. Wands is like, yeah, I finally caught you live. It is good to see you guys. The live streams are definitely cool. Been buying a lot online these days, and interesting activity. Yes, indeed. Union Josh Comics. Welcome to the live stream. I think that's what's cool about, doing these live streams at off hours is that it actually allows people to be able to join, that normally would not be able to join. So it's definitely good to see you. Chuck, how you doing? First live stream. Welcome. This is what it looks like. Fifth Dimension Toys, welcome to the live stream. All right, so I definitely appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys joining in. But let's do Hydra Collectibles. This is not my first live stream, but it is more friendly to my time zone. He is over in the UK. So welcome to you guys. If you are in another country as well, definitely throw that up there. But I told you guys a while ago that I was going to try to be a little bit more flexible in when I actually go live so as to provide people with some opportunities to be able to join that otherwise would not be able to do so. So I want to go back to the top of this thing and I want to cover off on what we were talking about at the beginning. And what we were talking about is that there is now a plan in place for Diamond to start delivering new comic books to local comic shops to address the pent up demand. And I'm not going to read this thing in its entirety because I've already done that once, but I will kind of skip through some of this. And you can actually read it for yourself on comicbook.com. Comicbook.com is a website that I'm referencing that actually has a press release from Diamond. And so I want to scroll down to the important part here. It says, while there are many steps and conversations that need to happen between today and resuming distribution of new weekly product, we, that being Diamond, is currently targeting mid to late May with the hope that as it towards that time frame, the time frame of being able to deliver new product to local comic shops is what they're talking about. But we cannot wait on firm dates. We have started the planning process and are having these important conversations with publishers and retailers so that once we have more clarity, we are in a position to restart and scale operations over time. And they go on to talk about here that product that was originally scheduled for release on April 1st through the 8th will be distributed over a longer period, allowing publishers to work with printers to deliver new product without interruption. Retailers will be able to adjust order quantities for those products, making sure that they are receiving quantities that make sense for the current situation in their stores. Again, this is very important information that, if you read it in its entirety, in my opinion, actually reflects a very thoughtful approach by Diamond that is very much informed by what is happening in the overall country, but definitely informed by what is happening with publishers and local comic shops. They are basically saying over the course of this press release that they are moving forward as a unified front, working with publishers and working with local comic shops to ensure that the market can be restarted in an order that makes sense for all partners. And that type of alignment, that type of coordination, I think will go a long way towards helping to restart this market in a way that does not leave anybody behind. And so I think that this is a very good move on their part. Tina's doing a good job of welcoming people, so I definitely appreciate that. Ariel's in there. He's like, welcome to all the new soldiers. Yeah, all caps, man. All caps definitely helps me. Because I have a very involved interface in front of me, and you guys know that the chat also goes pretty fast. So there was another person that was in their first live stream. Scrolling up, since the lockdown, I've been collecting Silver and Bronze Age Marvel villains. Man, I'm telling you that just because new comics are not coming out does not mean that there are not opportunities to really still enjoy comics. So really kind words here from Catherine. Good to see you too, and appreciate all that you do for the comic book community. It is my great pleasure. It is honestly how I find some enjoyment in this community, you know, outside of just reading the comics and getting to enjoy those and collect those. You know, during these live streams, during these videos and things like that is another way that I choose to express myself and to get involved. So I definitely appreciate that. Here, comment here. My LCS is offering to sell and mail gift cards to those that want to support the shop. Mr. Comic is basically saying, glad Diamond is finally getting it together. Another first. I think there's another. Hail Caesar. That's what's up. That's what's up. It's good to see you. Welcome to the live stream. Good morning to you, Comic Assassin. But yeah, I think that there was a lot of rumor out there for a while that Diamond was not going to restart things until August. And I've been a little hesitant to speak to that because I really wasn't seeing anything on a reputable site that referenced that, nor was I seeing an official press release from Diamond stating what their intention was going to be. And I think that part of the reason for that is that there is a lot of uncertainty out there, right? And Diamond releases its press release on the heels of some very, I think, clarifying statements from the federal government, in which there is a plan in place to begin opening the country in a phased approach. I think there were 3 phases that they are looking at, allowing local and state governments to make some decisions for themselves based upon what is happening in their local geographies. And I think that Diamond is kind of sort of playing off of and reflecting what is happening in the country as a whole, and then choosing to apply those same types of principles to the restarting of the comic book market, but to do so again in concert and in conjunction with their stakeholder partners, which is essential, right? Because you could definitely do what is in your best interest, but that might not be what's in the best interest of other people. And I think that they are doing, at least on the surface, right? They are doing what I think is important for all stakeholders involved, including local comic shops and publishers and us as readers and collectors and lovers of comics. So shout out to my man, EE. Shout out to my man EE for the super chat here. He says, my first CBCS submission just left the warehouse. That's what's up. That's what's up. Congrats on that, man. Fingers crossed for good grades for that. It is always an exciting time. And as people have been talking about, you know, even though new comics are not coming out, there's still lots of ways to really enjoy this hobby, right? I know a lot of people are sending books into CGC and CBCS to get them graded. There are a lot of people that are doing it to take advantage of these signature in-house opportunities that exist. A lot of people are going back and reading a lot of the inventory that they have on hand. People are still buying Marvel comics and DC comics, but the older stuff, right? And I think people are even still picking up graphics and trade paperbacks and stuff like that. Just because new comics are not coming out does not mean that you cannot continue to enjoy this hobby. So shout out to my man, Nick, for being pretty awesome. And I got a little something here from Nick that you guys will see at some point down the road. You guys are going to see some of that goodness. Reggie Cronkite. Man, Walter Cronkite had a dope voice, man. Legend in the game. I really hope Backseat Driver, my man, how you doing, brother? He says, I really hope that they do this intelligently. This is not something to be deprioritized because people are getting cabin fever. Well said. I think that, the way that this press release is written is that it is very thoughtful. Like I've written and read a lot of press releases. This one, in my opinion, seems to be well thought out. The words that they are using are very purposeful. And my belief is that there is a nice amount of thought that is actually gone into what they are explaining here. So scrolling down through the comments here, a super chat from my man Young T. Let's acknowledge that for a second. Young T, I definitely appreciate you, brother. There's been a lot of generosity and kindness that has been reflected in this time, not just towards the channel, but amongst the people that are out there. I know that there's an increased flow of AOKs that are going around to people. There are a lot more live streams. There's a lot more videos and things like that are being put out there. I think that we are all coming together as a comic book community. And I think that it is fantastic and wonderful. That's the same way that we are trying to support creators of comics. We are supporting local comic shops. I think that many of you have also stepped up to support creators that put out content. And I definitely appreciate it. And so it is greatly appreciated. So what is seeing all of these new people in the live stream is awesome. Just goes to show how big the audience really is. I myself am struggling to work out when to schedule my video because my audience is mostly US. Yeah, I mean, I think that's definitely a challenge. I think one of the, Hydra Collectibles is out of the UK. He's doing a lot of really good stuff. He has a video that he released a couple of weeks ago that I think was pretty solid that actually looks at pence. Looks at Pence Comics. And this is like an area where there's a lot of uncertainty and ambiguity as to what is a Pence? Is it a reprint? No, it's not. He actually clarifies in his video. But I think, one of the things is that you have to find a rhythm that actually makes sense and works for you. And then you have to be consistent to that. You have to do what you think is right, something that works for you, and then be consistent in that. The reason that I release my videos at 3:30 is because that is the time that I actually walk out of my office normally. And it is the time when I can start to respond to those people that are making some of those first comments on my video. It allows me to release an Instagram video basically saying, hey, check out the video that I just released. So what I've done is I've tried to build my releases around my schedule. And I think the audience has come to adjust to that because the audience will find a way to make the adjustment, either that they will watch it immediately or that they will watch it on replay. That is their choice. The other thing with the live streams, man, is that, I think that you have to just pull the trigger when you can, and as your audience grows, I think that more people will be able to flow into it. There are times when I do live streams and we get 150, 180 people in this thing. There are times when I do live streams and we don't get that many. And I'm actually quite comfortable with that because I know that people can still go back and watch those videos on replay. So Diamond just got a hold of some Gibbon juice, man. It is a powerful aphrodisiac. I'm gonna just tell you. Let me stop. You guys, it is too early. It is too early. I think that PGX is another great option for comic book collectors to explore if they are interested in having graded comics, right? Because not everyone is into graded comics, but I think that PGX is a great option for people to explore and to consider whether that is a company that they want to work with. The same way that I think that CGC and CBCS and EGS are great companies that are out there that people should look at and evaluate for themselves what they want to do with their collections. So just dealing in the facts, man. I try, brother. I try to deal in the facts. I try not to The article is actually located at comicbook.com. If you go to comicbook.com and you look in the very center column, you scroll down, probably 6 articles down in the latest column, there is the article reference right there. I will actually throw my screen up here one more time so you can actually see it. Right here, if you go to comicbook.com, right here, comicbook.com, you look in the middle column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is the 5th one down right next to the Diamond logo. Diamond Comics reveals when it believes it can ship comics again. It is right there. So hopefully you'll be able to find it and read it in its entirety. Scrolling down through some of the comments here. Happy Friday to all of you guys collecting comics. I definitely appreciate that, brother. Thanks for the thumbs up. Well, clicked on the wrong one. Thank you for the thumbs up. All right. With that, I'm going to go ahead and what is this? Carl says, thank you for the update, Reggie. Each day I look for news about the return of publication of new comics. So this is greatly appreciated, or much appreciated. Hello to everyone in the chat. Greetings from South Texas. Carl, thank you, brother, for swinging by. Definitely appreciate that. All right. So we're going to wrap this thing up. I actually need to go do some work for the job. I need to do some real work. This is work too, but also definitely a pleasurable thing for me. I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me for just a couple of minutes here. I hope that this news brightens your day just a little bit and gives you an improved understanding of what is actually going to happen with new comic books. It appears that new comic books will be making a return in mid to late May. So saith the press release from Diamond that was issued about an hour ago. And so I think that this should give us all a lot of insurance that the comic book market is not going to go asunder. I think that local comic shops have been struggling, but have also been trying to find ways to keep the lights on, if you will. I know for a fact that just within a few days, Jim Lee has actually raised more than $100,000 that is going to be donated to local comic shops. That is complimentary to the quarter million that DC actually donated to local comic shops. And so there's a plethora of things that are actually happening out there to help local comic shops survive. And then I think more importantly, local comic shops themselves are also fighting back, trying to keep the lights on, to keep things moving forward. And now Diamond is responding, basically saying, hey, we are here, we are coming back, and we will return. With that, I'm going to wrap this up. I want to thank you guys for spending a little bit of time with me. If you need to reach out to me, feel free to do so on Instagram at Reggie Collects, or you can send me an email to reggie@reggiecollects.com. And don't forget the 7,000 subscriber giveaway contest that is ongoing. We may actually be wrapping that up today. So if you haven't yet entered into that giveaway, you definitely want to head over to the community tab, scroll down on the page, and look for the post where I talk about the 7,000 giveaway subscriber contest. Like I said, if you guys need me, I am not too hard to find. Take care.